All right, so what's up? Chris Lee back with another Just Throw It Disc Golf video. You already know what it is. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and talk about what's been kind of going down lately with me and my disc golf journey, okay? So long story short, guys, things are changing. Things are changing with my form. Things are changing with my technique. Things are changing with the people that I throw with. Just my overall experience in my disc golf journey, okay? So with that being said, I just kind of want to tell you guys some of the things that I'm kind of working on or what I'm doing right now in this moment. I got people obviously texting me. With that being said, let's just go ahead and just, touch on some things. So with me right now, I'm about 7 months in or something like that in my disc golf journey, okay? So in my disc golf journey, I have experienced a couple tournaments already, and I have experienced, some form changes in such a short time that I've been playing. Also, I have been changing my disc around a lot. A lot of you know that in my cart, I carry around a Zuka cart, right? And my Zuka cart probably have a few different brands in there. So I think I throw a little bit of Discraft, I throw some Innova, I throw some Latitude, a little bit of Westside, I throw a little bit of Finish Line, some MVP stuff. So that's about 6-7 different brands, okay? Now, you're probably wondering why I've been throwing all these different brands. Well, the truth is there hasn't been one particular brand that has been meeting my needs as far as distance drivers, fairways, mid-ranges, and putters at the same time, okay? There's a little thing that I do want to mention, and we're going to say that now. MVP has kind of been winning me over a little bit, okay? And we're going to talk about that. Discraft has been kind of winning me over with the distance drivers, okay? Innova for the fairways, MVP for the mid-ranges, and Discraft for the putters, okay? That's kind of what my bag has been mainly consistent of here lately. Now, what's changed in a short time is that since my arm speed has gotten faster and my technique is changing, I am now realizing that a lot of the discs that I first started throwing in the beginning are no longer my favorite discs. So I threw the Thrashers, and I threw the Strikes. I threw Buzzes every now and then, the Crystal Flex Zones, things like that. Just a lot of Discraft stuff in general, okay? Even a T-Bird for Innova was one of my favorite, which is still one of my favorite as well. But I would honestly say that, and maybe I think the Beast at the time from Innova was another one of my favorites. Now I have moved into the realm to where MVP has undoubtedly become one of my favorite brands to throw. When it comes to MVP stuff in general, first off, I have 3 aces in the past 6 months of playing disc golf, okay? That's number one. Number two is 2 out of those 3 aces have come from MVP discs, okay? So I have aced with my MVP Matrix Neutron disc, and then I also aced with my Fission Wave from MVP as well, okay? And that was just here recently. I just got an ace about 2 weeks ago. I didn't get my mid-range shot with the MVP on camera, but I did get the Fission Wave. So when I went ahead and went to that particular course, I pulled out my Fission Wave and I decided to try it on a hole at Contecito that normally every time I shoot at that particular place, because I don't play it often, it was one time that I went a couple months ago when I started first playing, and I kept shooting on that particular hole, but the basket was in a different location. And every time I would do like these hyzer throws because I didn't have any technique or form at the time. And everything that I threw, no matter whether it was understable, overstable, you name it, came out hyzer throw just because I didn't know how to do nose down. I didn't have the arm speed. So things that were supposed to be flippy and, have a lot of turn, they would always come out on hyzer. So what I ended up doing was when I was throwing at the time, I would almost ace that hole just because the hyzers just kept getting closer and closer. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm making a little adjustments in my form at the time. And then I was actually getting some really decent throws to kind of get close to that basket. Well, When I went back to play that particular hole, I was like, yo, I'm going to play this course. And then when I get to hole 9, which is my favorite, I'm going to try to see if I can ace it. I decided to go ahead and use my Fission Wave just because that's been my favorite disc at every course. It's now my new favorite distance driver. And guys, believe it or not, I took a great X step. And I just took a crack at it. And when I took a crack at it, that thing went flying out of my hand. And I thought it was going to be way long, but that thing faded back just in time and aced the basket. I was super excited about it. I was pumped up. My family was there to witness it. There were other disc golfers there to witness it. It was just a great experience. I had people have the opportunity to go ahead and sign a disc. And I was blown away by it. I was just like, yo, MVP is becoming one of my favorite brands of discs to throw just because it feels so good in my hand. But not only that, there is some type of consistency that I am finding out with their particular disc. Certain other brands, you really don't know what you're going to get in certain scenarios. Yes, wind can change how you throw, but I do know that when it comes to MVP stuff, if I put it on a particular line, it's not really going to change much. If I put it on an Annie, it's likely going to stay there. If I put it on, a flat line, is going to stay there. If I put it on hyzer, it's pretty much going to stay there. Now, that all depends on your arm speed, your weather conditions and things for the most part. But I just know that when I pick up a particular disc, it's going to fly a certain way. If you find a particular disc and it don't fly the way that you want it to, don't sell it right off the bat. Let the disc beat in some and see if it's actually going to fly how you want it, because it's going to change once you beat it in. It's going to change in the weather conditions. It's going to change with your form, your arm speed, all those different things. So what did I go ahead and do? Well, in my big cart, as you can see, I got a bunch of discs on my wall back here. And I got a bunch of discs in my closet now. And then my cart has probably 50 discs or maybe more, which is way too much to be trying to carry in your cart if you're going to be going to tournaments and things like that. But why am I doing it? Because I'm a beginner. I just really wanted to take the time to see what was actually going to work best for me and my disc golf journey, which mid-ranges and fairways and drivers and putters that I like. Okay, so what I have come to right now in this moment, I have come to find out that out of all the brands that I've been throwing, MVP just happens to be the most consistent and reliable disc out of all the brands that I've thrown. Okay, so what I decided to do was, before I used to go ahead and carry my backpack. Okay, and then I stopped doing that because I had so many discs that I started having shoulder injuries, and I couldn't really putt the way that I wanted to because my shoulder was always tight and, very tense and hurting and tender and things like that, right? I was happy to actually go buy a Zuka cart. I absolutely love my Zuka cart. Like, hands down, it's so convenient for me. But almost 7 months in now, I have realized that it's really beneficial to have both. And so I decided to go back to having my backpack and just alternating depending on the course that I go to. Recently, I found out that basically going back to my backpack for certain courses is just more convenient. I decided to go ahead and create the backpack that I wanted, but only with MVP disc. And why only MVP disc? Well, because I finally decided that MVP was just going to be the brand that I was going to ultimately choose just to have in this particular bag. So I went out yesterday. I threw with a friend. I went out and threw, I think, 3 different courses, and I was tired. I started throwing at like 7 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and didn't stop till like 6:30 p.m. in the evening. Okay, so we went out and played one course at Ironwood Disc Golf Course, which is known as Gregory Wayne. I had a pretty good round there. I think I threw +1. It wasn't the best for me, but it was a decent round. And then I turned right around and went to go play disco at Eastmart. We went with the higher par chart, and I think it was like neg 11 that I threw there, but realistically with all par 3s and 1 par 4, it would have came out to like neg 4 or something like that. And then we ended up going to Spinners, and when we went to Spinners, I was like, yo, today is going to be the time that I go ahead and build my disc golf bag. And my disc golf bag is going to consist of nothing but MVP discs. So I decided to go to Spinners. Spinners is a crazy good store in Scottsdale, Arizona, where they sell a ton of just disc golf disc and baskets and used discs or whatever. It's a great store. Have a lot of cool stamps, very reasonably priced. It's just a really good store to go ahead and get your discs from. So I decided to go there, and I went in there for at least 1 or 2 discs. But I ended up coming out with like 8 discs, and that was more than what I wanted to actually spend that particular day. But it was worth it just because I got the disc that I wanted, but they didn't have everything that I was looking for. I was looking for a Fission Hex from Axiom. They didn't have that in there. And then I was also looking for MVP Impulse, which is a really good disc as well. It was just unfortunate that they didn't have everything that I was looking for. Some things were sold out because they sell pretty quick. What I ended up doing was we went to go play the disc golf course Cheyenne. It's a really nice disc golf course out there in Scottsdale, Arizona. They have pro tournaments there all the time, and that was a really cool. I think I threw 2 over there. I started to slip away at the end, but a lot of my discs were really fun to throw out there. It was just a really productive day. So I ended up throwing 3 disc golf courses in a row, and I was tired. I was super tired. I was pretty beat by the time I went home, but I had a good time with my friend Tyler. He's a really good disc golfer. I kind of learned some things from him in the process. So, you know, it was just really cool to go to the different disc golf courses and kind of shoot and see what the weather conditions were going to be like as time changed throughout the day. And we just had a good time. I ended up grabbing the Matrix Electron. So I have a Proton, a Neutron, actually 2 Neutrons now. And then I wanted to get this Electron. Shout out to my friend Jason. He's been playing as long as I have, and he's gotten really good at disc golf as well. We are both learning and growing together. He actually had one of these that he let me throw, and I thought this was a really nice disc to have in my arsenal. I love the way I release it. I love the way it flies for me, so I thought it was a must-have to have in my bag. This is a must-have for me. So this is 5.4 neg 1, 1.5. Okay, so this is a pretty good disc. Now, this disc, surprisingly, since I've started disc golf, I started off with the AVRs, which are great for me, but I ended up changing it as I started to progress because I needed something with a little bit more grip for me, and I happened to find the Soft Challengers from Discraft. Soft Challengers were great, but then I realized that they didn't really fly good in far distances, and they would kind of just drop out of the air. So I needed something that was going to be a little bit more grippy but glidey at the same time. And I ran across the Discraft Roaches, and those are by far my favorite putters as of right now. But for MVP, unfortunately, they're not going to be in this bag, the Roaches, because they aren't MVP discs or whatever. So I decided to go ahead and try this Atom out. This is a putt and approach disc. I like that this disc flies pretty straight, and I can actually putt with it. It's not as grippy as the Roach, but it does glide pretty well for me. The only thing that I will say is I barely went to go throw these today, okay? Both of these today. And as you can see, I threw it into the street twice on some rocks, and it's already gotten beat up. I also got another one of these, a Matrix Neutron plastic, okay? This is one of my discs that I actually aced with, and my other one is in my basket right now. I got all the signatures on it from Mason with it. I thought that was really cool, but this is a must-have in my bag. This disc flies really well for me. Sometimes it can fly a little flippy straight out the box, but I love that it stays on its line, and then it has like that late fade, okay, or it fades just in time toward the basket. That's why I like using this one. All right, so I also ended up grabbing an Envy. I heard about the Envies, and I threw some of the Envies, and I wasn't that much of a fan of them, but I found this Fission Envy, which was pretty cool because I was like, yo, the Fission Wave flies really well for me. I know that disc is pretty glidey and it can get some distance. Then maybe this one will be able to do that as well. And I was completely right about that. This putter / approach disc flies more like a mid-range, okay? But it can be used as a putter as well. This is a great disc to use, okay? It's glidey. It has some fade to it. The numbers on here is 3302. So this thing is going to stay on the line and kind of hyzer back or have like a little fade finish to it. I absolutely love this. I think everybody should have one of these in their bag if you're going to be throwing MVP, because this thing just glides and it can stay on a line that you put in, and it can actually travel some distance. So this is a really good disc. By the way, I'm not sponsored by MVP, so I'm not going to be on here telling you all this stuff about how great their discs are or whatever. I'm going to tell you how their discs work out for me. Another disc in my bag is a Tesla. This is 9.5 neg 1.2. This flies more similar to Undertaker from Discraft. Okay, this thing straight out the box is pretty damn beefy. Okay, this thing meat hooks. As soon as you throw this thing out of your hand, this is a very overstable disc in my opinion. Straight out of the box, you put it flat, it's still just gonna hard fade to the left. And on some holes, I really don't like that because I have to put it, today I found out that I had to put it out way right to try to get it to come close to the basket, but it doesn't travel that far as distance. And maybe I just don't have great arm speed or I'm not getting enough behind it. But for me, I need discs that are going to fly a little bit straighter with that late finish at the end to make it more reliable for me. Now, this one is very much of a surprise to me, okay? So I love wave discs in general, but this Cosmic Neutron plastic, today was really windy today outside, okay? But this disc was just kind of like lifting up, lifting down, just doing a lot of moving around. It don't have a lot of stability in a wind, so you got to be very careful throwing this disc. Now, maybe with a tailwind, you may or may not have the stability that you need out of this thing, but it was kind of a little iffy to me. I was kind of questioning this disc and if this is going to be worth having in my bag. I'm not sure I quite like the flight right now in heavy wind conditions, but I'm not going to judge it harshly right now because today is the first day that I actually threw it. And it was kind of a little bit all over the place. It was very unpredictable, but I want to actually see what it's like in non-windy conditions to go ahead and give it a fair judgment. The next thing is a Crave. Absolutely love a Crave. This one flies exactly how I wanted to. When I got my PDGA membership, I used to have a Crave that they give you with the koi fish on there, and I ended up losing that one, but that disc was just money for me, especially when I needed to go straight to the basket. This particular one flies just like it. I'm glad to have it in my bag. In windy conditions, though, this morning I seen that it was a little... It would fly straight depending on where the wind was coming from, but it also can be a little flippy as well. So you kind of want to watch that in heavy wind conditions. But for the most part, this is a money disc that you want in your bag. And as I stated before, the Fission Wave, by far my favorite disc to have in my bag. This thing is just money for me. I've parked a lot of shots with it. I've made more distance than what I've thrown with any other disc with this, and I can manipulate this disc the way that I actually want it. This bag is basically going to consist of nothing but MVP stuff, okay? I'm not going to put any Discraft putters in there. I'm not going to put any Innova stuff in there. I'm not going to put anything else in there but MVP stuff. So it's going to take me some time to go ahead and try to adjust to throwing these discs. But I do like these discs, and I know that this is something that I want to do moving forward. But am I going to get rid of my cart? Am I going to sell all my other brands of discs? Absolutely not. I want to be able to have just no more than 10 discs, maybe 12 in my bag, okay? That's just really pushing it. But for my actual cart, I do love that I have so many discs, even though that's kind of a bad habit. But I do like the fact that when I don't feel like throwing a particular disc or I need options, then I have certain discs that I can grab. Yes, a lot of these discs are the same. Yes, the flight numbers are the same, but the truth is they don't fly matching exactly what the numbers say. But other than that, guys, I truly appreciate you guys watching my video. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. What do you have in your bag? Is anybody out there a big fan of MVP? If so, I would love to know what dish you actually throw. And if you got a mixed cart like me, then let me know what's your recommended brands. What's your go-to? Is it Discraft, Innova? Do you have a little bit more of Latitude? West Side, whatever the case may be. I would love to know the brand of disc that you actually throw. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, please let me know down in the comment section. I would love to bring more content to you. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Share this content with other people. I'm really trying to get my channel known to other people. I give you that real on my channel. I don't try to sugarcoat stuff. I try to tell you the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, and the disc golf community, the people that you will deal with. Guys, a lot of people like to sugarcoat things and make things seem better than what they are. I can tell you right now, it's not all peachy cream out there. It's not all awesome people out in the disc golf community. It's some good, it's some bad. It's some dramaful people. It's some special spiritual people. It's a lot of good people out there that you can really learn from, ones that you want to stay away from. So with that being said, with me on this channel, I just want to give you that real, okay? So thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for supporting me as a beginner. And as always, if you're new to disc golf, pick up a disc, don't stress, and just throw it.